everybody. John Huber here, Maryland Education Network, brought to you by Maryland K-12. I'm in beautiful downtown Ocean City in my satellite office. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm on a different location here. We're talking about school safety today. It's been on my mind lately since I've been back from the conference. Let me give you three, as a parent or a stakeholder, a family member. Here are three very simple questions that you can ask your child's school, and you can expect a detailed response, all right? And if you don't get it, I'll tell you what to do in a second if you don't get a detailed response. Question number one, what is the protocol when a threat is received, and who is responsible to assure that those protocols are enacted? What's the protocol? What happens? Who does what? Who calls whom? What happens? That needs to be important. And they should have a very detailed and proactive plan. It should be in writing. It might be a countywide system in a plan, in a countywide protocol somewhere. But as a building level administrator, principal, system principal, whatever, they need to know what those policies are. They need to be ready to enact them whenever need be. So that's question number one. What are the protocols when a threat is received? And when I say a threat, I'm not talking about just, somebody calls up and says they're going to shoot up the school. I mean, it's a threat when one student threatens another, or if, bullying and threatening, all that kind of stuff. Who does the assessment? Who determines? Well, you hear it all the time. Well, it was not a legitimate threat, or wasn't a valid threat, whatever the different words they use. Who determines that? How does it get to that person? What are the procedures? They're not going to tell you everything. They're not going to tell you everything that they do, but they're going to give you enough to let you know that they have a plan in place. I would also caution some of you to watch out, because some of these plans that they have, they look great on paper, but they're way too complicated. I was looking at a local jurisdictions plan the other day. It was like 7 volumes or 9 volumes, like 200-300 pages. So what are they going to do? So anyway, what is the threat, or what is the protocol when a threat comes in, and who's responsible to see to it that it is enacted? The second one is, what method does the school use for mass communications when an event does occur? How am I going to be notified? Phone, text, whatever. And that should be a pretty simple answer. Should be, Raptor is used. They have a thing. There's lots of different products out on the market for this type of thing. Raptor. There's one called Response Angel. I think they do mass communications. Ed Connect, or Connect Ed, I think it's called. There's a lot of these different protocols. How am I going to be notified? Who's going to send it, and what can I expect? That's number two. And the last one's probably the most difficult one to deal with. What is the protocol for an active shooter? How are you prepared for that? What are you going to do? And they're going to go, well, we're going to lock down. Okay, well, do you do the Alice protocol? A lot of school systems now are going to the Alice protocol, which is kind of a modified, a combination of lockdown and other things. It was interesting at the state, or at the national convention, school safety. Some people were talking. Some people were not all in favor of the whole Alice thing. So, but for whatever reason, some schools have done it, some schools have not. That's one. Some have their own protocols. So whatever it is, what is the protocol for an active shooter? It's a tough one. Anyway, those are three very simple questions that you can ask your school, and you should expect an answer. You should expect a detailed answer. If you feel like you're being evasive, or they're not really answering the question, you need to go above that person's head. And when you go above that person's head, here's another little tip for you. Don't let them pass you off to a secretary, okay? God bless the secretaries. They're hardworking people, and they're wonderful people. But it's unfortunately become a little bit of a practice that when you call like an area superintendent's office, you talk to their secretary, and they go, well, so-and-so said this, or so-and-so said that. No, don't let them do that. And then what happens is this secretary calls that secretary, she calls him, and it's all these phone calls between secretaries. Talk to the person, him or herself. That's important. So anyway, those are three questions that you should specifically ask, and you should expect to get good, detailed, specific answers. Anyway, I hope this helps. Thanks. Have a great day.